Hello, we are doing a group discussion on our movie. Our movie was The Devil's Advocate, made in 1997 with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino. Yeah, so we're going to start by giving some questions that all of us have, and then we're going to discuss those questions. Do you want to start?
It doesn't matter.
I'll just start. So, I think most of us might have had this same question. At the very end of the movie, the devil comes back out and says that vanity is his favorite of the sins.
So I guess, what did you guys get out of the perspective of when he said that?
Well, I think that it kind of represents that the evil never stops. I don't know if it was trying to say that. I don't know if it was just trying to say that if he gets another go at it, the devil gets another go at it, or if it just is supposed to loop never-endingly. What do you like?
Because I think it's a never-ending loop because he tries he goes and he does all the wrong things because he wants to be the best, but he lets his confidence get in the way from what's right and what's wrong. And then towards the end, when he gets the second chance at it, he says, "Oh, I can't defend my client anymore." But then the news reporter guy comes and was like, "Let me get the interview on you. Let me get the interview on you." Blah blah blah. And then he was just
I feel like we should get some background information on this movie, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we can discuss
Okay, I probably should have in the beginning. The movie itself is about a lawyer from Florida that is a really good lawyer and has 64 convictions in a row and has never lost. And a big law firm in New York asks him to come work for them. And the head of the law firm ends up being Lucifer, and
which is his father.
And it gets kind of crazy. Yeah. It gets kind of crazy. The movie's pretty much portraying the devil tempting his son, and Keanu Reeves' character is fighting against that. So that's a little bit of background. Back to what we were talking about. At the end of the movie, the devil says that vanity is the favorite of his sins, and he appeared as a newspaper reporter out of nowhere. So I guess back to what I was saying, I guess that's kind of why I think that it's just supposed to never end. That's what I'm saying. If he said the devil's son, is he supposed to just he's just supposed to live that fate of it reoccurring over and over again until he gives in to something?
But I'm guessing that's the point. He gave him a test, he failed, so he gave him another test to see, and obviously he was going to fail. If he called him to, for the reporter to make him famous again, because it's back to him being all about himself again versus what he was really doing for, when he was in court with the guy. Mm-hmm. When he said he couldn't defend a client anymore just because he knew he was guilty. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's just an over and over test for him. Either you're gonna pass or you fail, and until you pass, I'm gonna keep, like you said, over and over.
I wonder if he's ever supposed to pass it though.
That's the whole
thing.
Not
supposed to. I feel like every time it just keeps coming back around.
Because
I was going to say, I don't think there's an escape to it because I feel like whatever you do, it might just come back and bite you in the ass, it is probably never ending. I don't know, but just because of the person he is.
What's never ending?
At the end, the
vanity, you're being confident or not confident but cocky in yourself, because he said in the beginning, he was trying to win all those cases because he wants to be the best. But when he gets that second chance at the end to make it right, I guess, and not defend for his lawyer, the guy still wants to interview him.
So is basically everything is about a choice. Everything is about a choice, good or bad.
Right.
When you say that, it just repeats itself. It made me think of life in general for everyone. If people believe in past lives and things like that, when you if the way you live out your life determines how you live. I mean, however you lived in the past life determines how you live in this life, and so on and so forth. So I guess that kind of means the same thing as far as it keeps repeating itself.
Yeah. That's what.
But I got more than just his vanity. It's just like everything about the story, the mood, everything. Like, where was the morals? Like, nobody had.
Yes, that was the point.
And I think it started with him being raised in Florida, like a Southern. His mother was really religious, and he grew up. He knew right from wrong, basically.
Right.
But the choices that you make determine the path of your life, like that. You see something like that,
Right.
And it was giving him a chance to morally
to do the right thing.
To do the right
opportunity
thing.
to do the right thing.
He's
That's what I'm saying.
been
Do you think that if at the end of the movie he had said, no, I don't want to do the article, and like had made the right choice and not been vain, do you think that would have been it? Or do you think that the devil would have just come back another way?
He did. I thought that was it. But he came back.
At the end, he comes back in that way, but I'm saying, like, he makes the wrong choice at the end of the movie, and he says, yeah, I'll do your article, and the devil's like, vanity, my favorite sin, because the guy agreed to go back on the
once
ground.
he starts blowing up, his head gets bigger.
That's what I'm saying.
That he'll be able to weakens him in some sort of way.
Back because he kept like.
So I'm
he
saying,
kept persuading him, like, come on, do the article, man, do the article.
Do you think that there was an end to that, or do you think that even if he had said no and hadn't been vain, the devil would have just come back as like an ice cream man or something and give him another test? Like, you think the tests are just never-ending tests for this dude? Like, his life is just going to keep cycling over until he decides that he's going to give in?
Give in
to the devil, because the devil wanted him to like have sex with his sister, and
because he wanted an Antichrist,
and then have the Antichrist.
Yeah, because that's what the kid would have been.
So, like,
his brother. And
so I wonder if at the end him saying that is like portraying that it is never going to, like, he can never make the right choice. He's always going to be faced with these
hard choices.
Which I guess that is like the Bible. So Christianity is like you're always faced with these hard choices, but even if you know that it's going to go that way every time, you're still supposed to be strong. I guess that's what
I don't think it's a religious based thing. Anybody. It can be any religion, any belief system. We all have. I mean, the good and bad. There's good and evil in anything. So it's just what you take. You know how you look at it, what you take from it. So I don't think it's just a Christian thing.
I mean,
only Christians believe in good and evil, or good and bad. No.
All right, well, let's move on to another. See, we'll leave in that question. I have another one. Do you want to do one?
You can go ahead.
I had the one out like, how was Milton getting to Kevin's wife? Like, how was he getting in her head? Like, every time, like, she would have to go into panic. She would see like these demonic faces. But it was Milton doing it though.
What I got from I don't think he was in her head. I think he was in everybody else's head. She was the only one that was able to see clearly. That's what I took from it. And that's why she looked like an insane person. That's what made her look crazy, because she was the only person that could see everything for what it truly was.
Right. Because she was like, Milton did this and did that. But he hadn't did anything, but he ended up eventually doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you mean, because like everyone around them, like even like the wives of the other husband, they were like on their own world, like, oh, we never see our husband, like we just spend his money and blah blah blah.
That actually kind of brings me to one of the other questions that I had, was that when at the end, when it comes back in a different way, right? Like all that happened with the firm, like it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if the firm is still the same way. Like if that dude is still the head of the firm, and like all these people in the firm are still like involved with these demonic like activities. You know what I mean? Because you know the people like change into demons throughout the movie, like all the other people that work there. It makes me wonder if the firm is still like that.
He was the puppet master.
So,
everybody, they were just all puppets.
So do you think that like the firm is just a completely normal place now, that way didn't work for the devil to get
I believe the firm doesn't exist.
You don't think it exists?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't think it exists.
It could have like.
I'm sorry, y'all.
I think like the people in the firm were just pretend. They weren't like. I don't want to say they weren't real people, but like you said, like
Do you
they
think
were.
Do you think that they're just real? Do you think they are real people, but then they're just normal, and that's not going on? Like in this, because it is an alternate reality when it goes back
Right.
to.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it could be a law firm. Like, because doesn't he say, why'd you pick lawyers? Why lawyers out of, like, all people?
Yes.
They the ones who can be easily corrupted.
Right.
Yeah.
It's I mean, but the law itself is tricky. It's crazy. It's corrupt. It is. If you think about it, that's probably why he chose that. Because the law can be bent and twisted to suit whatever the need or the purpose is for it at that moment.
So, I mean, this is saying, like, the law system is corrupt then in the movie? I mean, that could be, like, another big,
Is the legal system corrupt?
yeah.
It is.
Because, like, I mean, you know,
yeah,
there's a
look
lot of cases where people
Look at Kevin.
do, you know, I was going to say there's a lot of people that commit, like, murder, but they don't go to jail for it, you
That's
know?
not the man at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, the teacher?
Yeah, that's what he was
Yeah,
saying.
That's where my first question came from. Like, think about him. And put yourself in the little girl's shoes. To be, you know,
Up there.
how can a lawyer, how can you say that that's the right thing to do, knowing that this man, you know this man is guilty. You know he's guilty.
Like, he
But
knew.
then because you have sworn an oath to protect him or defend him, you're going to tear this girl apart knowing that she's already suffered by his hand. Like, how is that right? How is that morally right?
That's why I feel like at the end, Satan was giving him a chance, like a test to morally make the right decisions. Because all throughout the movie, he knew the guy killed all his he wasn't there with his assistant.
Mm-hmm.
He knew he did what he did. And then you remember the one other guy came back. He was like, you remember that teacher? They found her with a 10-year-old girl in her trunk, in his trunk.
So if he had done something, that could
have
been
been prevented. But I think that part really, when that guy said that, and then after everything at the end with his dad, is what really made him go into that courtroom and say, I can no longer defend this client.
You think he saw what actually would have happened if he had done it the other way?
Yeah.
Do you think that he remembers all that? Like when he shoots himself at the end and then goes back and is like in the bathroom again at the very
Yeah.
like.
yeah.
Do you think that he it's obvious that he remembers all that, right?
I feel like, yeah, like, he probably, like, I feel like
Like, that was
it's,
the
like,
point,
what he visioned, or, like, you know, like,
It wasn't a hallucination. It was just like an alternate reality.
Yeah, I feel like he did.
Does he remember?
I
He
feel
has to remember that all that happened
because remember
because that's why
when
he goes and makes that choice.
he and then when he goes back in from the bathroom, his wife is sitting there, and she was like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Are you fine?" He just looked at her and he was like, "I am now."
yeah.
So obviously he knew he was some. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He knew he was some because she was dead, like in another world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when it was like he snapped back to reality, he came in and he seen she was there, and she asked, "Was he okay?" He said, "Yeah, I am now." So I feel like he did remember, or he knew that he was, you know,
It's
if it
all
was
possibilities, what could have happened.
yeah.
You know?
So I feel like he remembered that.
Y'all know who John Bilton is? Because that's the devil's name in the movie.
Yeah.
Did y'all think about that? Like that's actually relevant. Like that's not just a random name.
Oh, that's an actual relevant name.
No, I didn't know.
John, he was a poet, but he wrote stories in like the 17th century, and like he was the dude that wrote the poem. He wrote a really really long poem about Adam and Eve, and like how they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. He was like one of the people that rewrote that story, which is kind of weird. Which is kind of crazy. There's so much stuff in that movie. Like if
Oh,
you really
I
look
didn't
into
even
it,
go that deep.
there's so much stuff in that movie.
I didn't either.
Or like the part where he's like it foreshadows like him being the devil the entire movie. Like the part where they're up on the roof at the beginning, the devil's like standing like 2 inches
From the edge.
he's like
Like
he's like standing like 2 inches from the ledge, and it shows like Keanu Reeves' character like looking him up and down because he's like 2 inches from the ledge and like 100 feet. Like, 100 stories in the
He
air.
was looking over.
So there's a lot of stuff in that movie that it's kind of crazy.
Well, it was like, you know, like the one like the I send you out as sheep and miss the.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the biblical
Yeah.
references in there a
Yeah.
lot. The standing on the edge, that was like when Jesus was tempted by Satan. Yeah, that's what I took from that too, when he was tempted.
I think that I don't know. I think the whole story is supposed to be somewhat symbolic with like biblical teachings.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's supposed to be somewhat like alongside of everything, just portrayed in a newer way. But I didn't really spend a crazy amount of time thinking about the similarity. I don't know. What other questions did you have? Did you have more questions?
I don't know. I was saying like something like earlier, like whereas intentions really like was he really like intending to like really? Oh my gosh, was he intending to defend? Like he wasn't trying to protect like his clients as like being proven non-guilty, like even though he knew like they were guilty, like he just let his like ego get in the way. You know
Of him.
what I'm trying to say? Probably not.
No, I know what you mean.
Like he knew they were guilty. He let his ego get in the way, but like his intentions were they really like
To do that or
To be the best
to be
or like I mean
at any cost, at all costs.
I feel like his intention was to win, to be the best, always to win. But
He just
his
wanted-
intention wasn't to put the good people, like the bad people, back on the street. It just so
Right.
happened he got that client and in his mind thinking they are not guilty, but along the line finding out things they were guilty. You know what I'm saying? Because just like if you were a lawyer and I came to you, in your mind, me and you you're going to want to think I'm not guilty. Unless otherwise changes that, then you're going to think I'm not guilty. You know what I'm saying? That's every lawyer. Like, I mean, you'll know, but you want to go, I feel like as a lawyer, you want to go in that mindset, my person is not guilty. It was, you know what I'm saying? That's just every lawyer. That's what you're shooting at, for your person not to be guilty. But finding out they're guilty and then you already been on trial for 2 weeks and you just found out today in the middle of the trial, that they are guilty, but this whole time you've been backing them up. You like, why are you
basically him making a
change
choice
now?
between them and himself.
And himself,
like his
yeah.
reputation, his
Versus
career.
them
Mm-hmm.
being out on the street? And that was more important to him.
I mean, like, you know how he says, like, that's how we persuade you, like, we kill them with kindness. That's what he was saying when he first arrived at the law firm. You know, like, everything seemed like a fantasy for him.
He would
Like,
walk in the
all
room,
this-
shoulders back, head up.
Yeah,
Did
like,
you see
you
it?
get this
Mhm.
nice apartment,
Mhm.
everything's paid for, all this, like, luxury
Mhm.
life. Like, it seemed like a dream.
Mhm.
Like, it wasn't. But then, like, even towards, like, the end, when, like, he started finding out things, or, like, when people started getting in the way, like, I don't know, the one, what was his name? The bigger dude in the movie.
He died.
Yeah, he got
Mhm.
killed by
Eddie?
the hobos.
He was the
Eddie.
manager of the
Yeah, he got, since he was in his way, what's his face, Milton, or the devil, like killed him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then same with the guy who came back and was questioning him. Oh, you know that teacher you defended for,
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got hit by
Yeah,
a
he gets hit by a
car.
car.
So,
That
like,
was
I
one.
feel like if obstacles were trying to get in his way, they wouldn't, because Milton would, like,
Was the puppeteer.
would get
He
rid
was
of them.
orchestrating
But
everything.
it's,
So he
but it's
would-
almost weird though, because it seems like
It's like a false reality, or like,
it's weird though because it's like, you know what I mean? They say the devil's gonna do whatever he has to do to like achieve his goal,
yeah.
but it seems crazy because he puts him through so much. Like he puts him through so much disparity and like pain before he tells him that that's what the purpose of this is. I wonder if it was to break him. Like, do you think it was to break him? Because it seems like if you were the devil, it would be easier to lie the whole
I
time.
think it was to show his true colors. because, like you said, it's a choice. At the end of the day, it's his choice. So,
Exactly.
because, like, his wife...
He didn't do anything to him.
So you think
He
this?
chose every single case. He accepted it. He's even giving him opportunity to take it. Take care of your wife. Step away. He wouldn't do it.
He said,
That
I'm
man,
going
he
do
did
this,
nothing
this,
to
and
him.
then take time off.
Temptation.
So
He
you think-
tempted it.
so
He
you
put
think-
it in front of him. He made the choice and grabbed it himself.
Yeah.
So you think that before the end came, when the devil like explained everything, he was like trying to prove to him, he was trying to get himself to realize that he's like bad in general.
Yeah, because,
Like instead of the devil tricking him, the devil made him go through all that, so at the end he could be like, "Yes, you are my son. You have done
No.
all this."
He did all of that so that he would make a choice in the end. He wanted him to choose in the end. That's the only way the conception or whatever it is that he wanted to birth from that would come to reality. If he chose, he made the choice to do it. That's what all of that was.
yeah, because...
He was reminding him, you made the choices up until now. I didn't do anything. You made these choices, and he was basically hoping that he would make the next choice as to move
What was
forward with
That's what I'm wondering. That what was the purpose of the devil doing that? Because if the devil at the end of the day wanted him to have the Antichrist with his sister, if that's what he wanted at the end of the day, why wouldn't he go a route that would have been easier on him?
because it doesn't work that way.
Why
It
not?
doesn't work.
Why couldn't the devil just show up and be like, "I'm going to give you all this money, yada yada, this is whatever," and explain it to him right there?
I think he just wanted him to know, show that these are your intentions. This is what you want. Because, I think towards the end he says, I can't force nothing upon you, And he was like, yeah, you're right. And then, I don't know. He's like, that's why I make my own choice or something. And then he shoots himself or whatever. And then,
because without him, he wouldn't have. Whatever he was trying to birth from that, it wasn't going to work.
He was trying to keep it going, and basically,
Mm-hmm.
the next thing.
I'm sorry. I'm distracted by people walking by.
that's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I saw. What was your first
Because they
question?
keep looking in here.
What was your first question of reasonable doubt?
What is reasonable doubt?
Reasonable doubt. That actually kind of confused me a little bit too. I know it is, but I didn't really.
What is your
Reasonable doubt?
Yeah, making
No, it was. Oh, I have the
making
definition.
choices.
It says in the movie. It says, "How do you feel about squeezing that man through the door? Squeezing that criminal through the door of reasonable doubt." That's what it says after he wins that first case. The guy says that to him.
Oh yeah, when they're drinking.
And it said is defined as an abiding conviction to a moral certainty of the truth of a particular charge, criminal charge.
Okay. So what? That's reasonable doubt. So it's giving just enough information for them to be like, "Oh, he might be innocent." Isn't that what that is?
Supposedly.
Exactly.
But if you are morally charged with making that decision, and you're morally charged with defending somebody, doesn't that sort of conflict somewhere?
Yeah.
Like in this movie when that man was guilty and he continued to defend him anyway. Because it makes you think, if certain things can come up, knowing a person is guilty and all you have to do is just manipulate these people or manipulate the circumstances enough for them to believe that, knowing that, but you still know that it's wrong. He did what he did. How is that right? How is that morally right? Is that reasonable doubt? That was my question. Because I'm sorry. Oh, that's not right. That is my question. About the little girl. And I couldn't get past that part. I had to watch that over and over again because I just couldn't believe, that's the system. That's the legal system. And it's not like it was just for this movie. That's truly how it is.
Making money that way.
Hmm?
You make a lot of money that way.
True.
That's that goes hand in hand with the corruption.
Mm.
Do bad things, make more money.
But
I guess that's why he did what he did. He kept doing bad things because it was bringing him money.
And at the end he could have done the worst thing and been all powerful. Could have had all the power if he had done the worst possible thing.
So,
in the eyes of someone that may be religious, like that's probably the worst possible thing, like, to help bring the Antichrist to fruition like that.
dude, that's the worst thing.
I mean, I'm not
religious.
I'm not religious like that.
Me
Oh,
either.
I'm sorry.
Me
I'm like a Christian, so I wouldn't know like that.
I don't know what the worst thing would be, but I can imagine that'd be pretty far up there.
Yeah.
Pretty
What,
neat.
and
top of the left
Pretty
side.
neat.
So,
I mean, hey,
if
it happened.
because he was saying like if his sister and him had a kid, like that kid would be the new
Who would
like
be the Antichrist?
yeah, okay, so he would be like the new Milton, right?
I mean, it would just be like a family tree of.
But he would like
Like
continue like to
forever
rule the
royal.
law firm or whatever.
It'd be like a family tree of royalty, with the devil being the king of the earth, and the Antichrist being like the soldier. The devil is the king. He isn't the one that goes out there and pulls these things off. Like the Antichrist is supposed to be the army that takes over the world, and then the rest of them are just kind of there to rule as the family tree.
So that one Antichrist was going to be the soldier.
Yeah, he was like the Antichrist was supposed to be like the final key to being able to destroy everything.
And got you.
I'm not super knowledgeable about that stuff though. I don't know if what's supposed to happen in the Antichrist. I don't know.
Oh,
Is
what's
it like
that
is it
movie?
like the Rapture?
Legion. Y'all seen Legion?
Nah, what's that?
Isn't it with Will Smith?
Is it called Legion?
It's one with Will Smith. He has like a dog in there, right?
That's I Am Legend.
Oh, that's I Am.
I think it's called Legion. What I'm talking about is like
I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about. I've
like
never
the
seen
dude
it.
with the wings.
Yeah, I've
and
never
the
seen it.
gun,
I've never
the
seen it,
gun.
but
And it's like I think Antichrist happens between him and his brother or something. It's really good. It's on Netflix. Watch it. Legion. It's like 2 hours. It's really good. It's on Netflix. But
Okay.
it's good though because it's like Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
And, but it made me think of it.
I mean,
Okay.
to like wrap it up, like how would you guys
Describe
like
the
what
movie.
did you get? Yeah, what did you get out the movie?
Yeah, that's I really can't say.
I feel like the whole movie was just
I just see like don't
It's-
be too self-invested.
yeah,
in
it's like a
yourself.
life lesson of
Don't let your ego get in the way of like what's knowing what's right and what's wrong. Like even though you can take the glory and win and stuff, but you're still gonna have like that conscience in the back telling you like
but
you know it was wrong, even though like everyone's praising you, like look at you, you're the man, like you won all these cases, look at all this money, but like still in the back of your head it's like, dang, I really just like let this like person who is guilty.
I think that I thought the whole point of the movie is like your moral integrity. So the bad things are gonna like keep happening. They're always gonna be happening, and they're always gonna be testing you with these bad things that happen throughout your life. And they're always gonna be testing you to go the easy route and do something bad. Like you know what I mean? Like I could work every day, or I could just go rob a bank.
yeah,
I mean, like it'd be a lot easier for me to go rob a bank. That's not the right thing to do.
yeah,
And I think the whole point of the movie is that you're constantly going to be faced with these trials and tests, and that it'd be a lot easier to just give in. But if you want to be morally, if you want your integrity to be like
do what's
sound,
wrong.
if you want to have sound integrity, then you need to fight those things no matter what. You know what I'm saying? It's like Buddhism. Like life is bad, but you live it anyway. That's like what Buddhism is about. Life's bad, you live it anyway because it's life.
Wow. Okay.
That's what I got out of it. That is just you just kind of if you want to be like if you want to like within feel right about what you're doing, then you have to make the choices. You have to make the choices you don't want to make.
But I mean,
But
I guess you did want to
I
make
mean,
those choices. So you make the hard choices.
but
I'll
it
say.
still wasn't right. I mean, he was put in a situation where he knew right from wrong, but he still made the wrong decision,
mm-hmm.
and he still like he put Arabians back on the streets, but
This is bad dude.
he got
Bad
a good
dude.
reputation.
I was like, what?
It's bad man. No, he's alright. He turns out pretty cool.
I don't know.
I mean, that's all we got. That's our
Yeah,
30 minutes, Corey.
I really hope that that's still recording.
Yeah, it's still recording. It just blanks the screen.
That'd be really bad.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta type in my password.
Let me block that word.
Okay.